welcome back, everybody. This is Paranormal WatchTower with myself, Brandon, and Ray. We are going to be talking about something pretty interesting tonight, something that we're all interested in. We all have a vested inquiry into. We're going to be talking about aliens, what we believe, what we don't believe, some conspiracy theories, and what popular opinion may or may not be. Anyways, again, I am Brandon Kramer. This is my co-host.
What's up? This is Ray, Nebraska Paranormal. You ready to get into aliens? Hold on.
I am.
I got something for people here.
Aliens. There's our guy.
Oh, Giorgio.
Georgie Porgy. I like that guy.
Nope, he's funny.
So alien topic for today. So first of all, I am a huge believer in aliens. I'll just go right ahead and say that. I know that not all of us in here can.
No, I do not believe in aliens.
Look at the look on his face, everybody. Look at that look. He's just rolling his eyes at me.
Hey, you know what? You can believe in what you want to believe in. I don't hate you for it. But I don't believe in little green men.
Well, they're not all green. We know that. That's a what is that? A stigmatism? Not a stigmatism. That's something else.
Yeah,
it's you know what I'm talking about. What's the word I'm looking for here?
Oh, I don't know. You're the one making up men from outer space, so
I am not making them up. Oh my god. I have yet to actually see them, but I look forward to the day.
What would you do? What would you do if some aliens landed in your backyard?
To be honest, I'd probably do something dumb like run out there and try to like touch one.
You try to poke one?
Try to poke one.
That's how galactic warfare starts right there.
Are you real? Like, what do you feel like? Like, what do you?
What got like those scary stories that you've heard where like the aliens were trying to get into the houses, and have you heard about those?
No, they're trying to break in. I know about that guy that had one land not too long ago. Where was that? California or Mexico? New Mexico?
Sure it was. The one was like New Mexico, I want to say, but that was
they landed in his backyard. The police officers were pulling up and they saw something come down. The police officers saw it. I can see you cringing already. But there's actually video after the fact of something gray-headed with big eyes piercing through the fence. Like they were looking around and they didn't see him.
What if it was just a dog?
I ain't never seen no dog like that.
Did they get it on body cam?
I believe they got some of it on body cam. I don't know if they actually got the alien itself. I think there was several aliens, actually. I think there was 3, I think.
The original something like that I was talking about it's probably in maybe the 50s, 60s, where like this whole family was being terrorized by these aliens, and they claimed they took some shots at them. I don't remember the whole story, but that was one of the
They shot at the aliens?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be interested to find out how that worked out for them.
Yeah, I don't know.
And conspiracy theorists suggested that science received transmissions from a 13,000-year-old artifact in orbit around the Earth, now known as the Black Knight satellite.
So this thing right here is an actual picture of the Black Knight satellite, allegedly.
Right, and it says, where is it today? Like, conspiracy theorists I know, well, not I know, I don't know the conspiracy theorists, but they're saying that the government is hiding it now. That they're hiding it. They're hiding the alien technology, because that's what they think it is. Like some sort of alien robot.
It looks like space trash to me.
Well, but why would it be up there for so long? And apparently it's orbiting differently, isn't it?
Yeah, it orbits in a weird direction. It goes north and south. But
so what does that mean?
That we didn't do that back in the 50s when this story allegedly took off. Like, because Tesla was supposedly getting signals from it in like the late 1800s, early 1900s. But I've never actually read anything from Tesla that actually talked about it. It's all just conspiracy website stuff.
Hmm.
Of course, the government took all the Tesla papers after he passed, so.
So I know you don't necessarily believe that aliens exist. I believe they're already here and among us. I know that
Like lizard
throws you
people.
for a loop. Yeah, I definitely believe there's lizard people. You know, I think people that are listening to us right now, there's some that believe in it too as well. We know Beyonce is a
Right.
lizard for sure.
Like, I wouldn't
For
even though I don't believe in aliens, I wouldn't argue that point with you.
sure. See,
She's definitely alien.
yeah, she's got to be. She's got to be. So there's a few others on the probable list, but
Dennis,
I mean, I don't know how many people I want to hate me. You know what I mean?
I always thought Dennis Rodman was a good candidate.
Well, you know, that's.
Like
I
nowadays,
think
what
you
he
might be
did
right.
wouldn't be considered shocking, but
No,
back in the '90s, like, that was shocking to some of the stuff he did. Maybe Howard Stern too.
Howard Stern.
Yep, Howard Stern definitely alien.
I think aliens are out there. I don't know if they. My big question, I guess, is: are they hostile or friendly? Are they? We know they don't like nuclear weapons. That much we know.
Allegedly.
You don't have to keep talking allegedly. I mean,
I
we
mean,
know they don't.
I don't know they don't. Like, I'm sure they're not hostile because we've never been attacked so far.
Right.
Knock on wood if I had wood around.
But then again, if they're as far advanced as we all think they are, I mean, it would be like us attacking an anthole.
Have you never seen Independence Day?
I have seen Independence Day. Excellent
We
movie.
we whooped some alien ass in that movie. Yeah, they took
Yeah.
us out for a little bit. I mean, we lost a few cities.
Yeah. Yeah. With the big lasers that came down to blow up the buildings.
That was an amazing movie.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I'm
See,
surprised you even seen it since you don't watch movies.
oh, that was back when I actually got free tickets to the movies because my sister babysat for the movie owners. So I saw
Oh.
like that and Twister and Jurassic Park all in the movie theater.
Hmm. I used to be an usher at a movie theater. That was an interesting job.
I could see that.
Not during Independence Day. I was too young for that, but
You were too young for that?
that's what we're going with. So just
Okay.
yeah, next subject.
I had to think there. I was like, God, I was probably like 15, 16 when that movie came out.
Yeah,
Maybe.
no, we're good. Let's move on. Moving
Moving
on.
on.
Moving on.
So do you think lizard people have infiltrated like the governments of the world?
Yeah, I definitely think that's where they're like the what are the big head honchos called draconians.
The
I
drink.
think I think they're definitely infiltrated politically and in the military as well. I think they have control over some parts of it. I know I sound like a whack job, but
I
it's
mean, I wasn't going to say that, but if you say it,
you're not going to disagree.
I'm not going to disagree.
Yeah.
I don't think
Well,
it's wacky.
anyway.
I mean, there's so much evidence, video wise, of different things, not of aliens, obviously, but of UFOs. So, like, I don't really hate on people for believing in UFO or aliens. It's a logical step to take. If you think there's UFOs, then there's probably aliens.
In your eyes, what's more likely? The reptilians or the grays?
I'd probably go with the reptilians just because of my beliefs in the whole alien thing.
So do you think there's better odds of reptilians existing than the grays? Hmm.
I would say that there's a lot better odds, but I wouldn't call them like aliens from another planet.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, there be beasts among us on this earth.
They're already here. I still believe octopuses from the octopi are from outer space. I still
I
believe
mean,
that. I know
that
we've talked about it before,
I don't
but
get that one. Like
I
they're just octopus. They ain't done nothing to you.
oh
Just leave them
jeez.
alone. So do you think
Jeez, that
aliens are from another planet too, just because they change colors?
no, but I mean, I've seen documentaries on them and they got like a brain in each arm or something like that and they
They're
can
weird animals.
change what?
They're very weird animals, no doubt.
Well, and they can change their complete body and not only their color, but their texture.
And they
In
can squeeze through tiny holes.
yes, yes.
They're freaky,
And
but I mean,
it was 181 times in a minute. It completely changed color and texture. That's what it's recorded at. 181 times in a minute.
but that's what they
Complete
do.
different colors.
That's what they do.
I'm telling you, that is not earthly.
Look, if the octopus is alien, then so is the duck-billed platypus.
Hey, I'm not knocking it. It might be.
That is the
It
weirdest.
just might be.
I don't even understand that thing.
All right, everybody that's listening, put in the chat whether you think an octopus is or is not of alien origin, because I think it is. And I don't know. Winner will get something. Maybe just an attaboy. Maybe something. I don't know. He loves putting that picture up. Look at him.
I do. I was watching Ancient Aliens last night. Even I watch it a lot before I go to bed.
Well, it's a good show.
It is.
You know, I'm fascinated by it. I'm fascinated by the pyramids. I'm fascinated by. There's no way in hell they could have done it that many years ago without assistance. And I think you know what kind of assistance I mean.
Oh, I
But
know what you mean. It's not what I think, but like, since I really believe in like the biblical part of the world, I guess. Like to me, there were fallen angels, there were Nephilim. Um, what I really like about Ancient Aliens is they try to build on there was this advanced technology in the past. And I've always thought that there was more advanced civilizations in the past. Maybe not in the same way we're advanced, but I don't see why they couldn't have figured out how to use sound to move these big, large rocks without even having to touch them. Because we use sound to levitate things now.
you're
You know,
talking about sound like the weapons in the military.
right? Exactly. Like if you read about the walls of Jericho crumbling in Scripture, like they blasted these horns. Well, that makes sense. That's a low sound wave. I could see that over and over on top of the beat of their marching, making these rocks crumble. You know, if
Well, I
they
can
had
see
that
them.
kind of technology, why couldn't they just move big boulders?
Well, because it's with such precision. I mean, can they use the sound to get those laser cut edges?
No, no. I don't think the sound would do that. I don't know how they did that. Like that is a mystery that I love to read about. The precision of the cuts, especially the
Yeah.
ones that look like H's. Have you ever seen those that are
I
stacked?
they've seen some weird ones. I haven't
I want to say
seen
that
the H ones.
down in South America, but they look like H's and they're stacked like Legos almost. But they say you can't even get paper in between the seams.
Wow.
Like, how did some civilization with no tools do that?
Right.
So the answer is either they were more advanced than we realize, or there's aliens. Paranormal.
or the aliens helped them.
We throw this up.
There it is. There's our guy. There's our guy. So
I want to get him on the podcast sometime.
wouldn't that be awesome?
It
That
would
would
be.
be awesome.
He's very intriguing, even though I don't agree with a lot of what he says with aliens. Like I could probably
Hmm.
talk to him for hours about aliens.
I actually saw him. He had a spot on that new Netflix show, Resident Alien.
He's on like 3 shows nowadays.
He plays himself
Oh, of
because
course.
the Resident Alien goes to like this alien convention,
Oh my goodness.
and he's one of the speakers there, and he's like everybody's freaking out about there's an alien here somewhere, and he walks up, he's like, hey, how you doing, nice to meet you, and he's like he's just talking to him like a normal, he knows he's an alien and just totally blows it off like he's just a normal person. I laugh.
If
It's
there
when you
were
watch it, it's funny.
if there were aliens, I would not be surprised to find out he's friends with some of them.
Probably. But I think even the people that are, I talk about how I think the government is a big conspiracy and they're hiding everything. I also think the experts in the alien field might also be hiding stuff. Like they're not letting out what they really know,
These are like dark agents for the United States government.
I don't know if they're working with the government or not, but I know if I was investigating aliens outside the government, I'm just out on my own looking and I find out some amazing shit, who do you tell? You know what I mean?
You're right
Like
about
who could you trust enough to tell them to the point where it would make a difference? It would be tricky. It's kind of like winning the lottery, Oh, I won the lottery, but you don't want everybody to know because then they're all going to want a piece,
that.
you know.
I don't know if I'd make that connection, like winning the
Yeah,
lottery.
I think it is. I think discovering for facts and rock solid proof about the aliens would be like winning the lottery. I think it would be better than winning the lottery.
Here's what I find funny with the whole government thing. Like, the conspiracy people tell us don't trust the government. And now, here, since the government's been truthful about UFOs, everybody's like, but the government says. It's
I
like,
say that too.
come on.
I
Like, do
say it
I
too.
not trust them, or all of a sudden they're trustworthy? All of a sudden, no,
I
come
don't. They're absolutely not trustworthy. Absolutely not.
on, not at all.
The one thing I'm grasping onto hope that they're telling the truth about is the alien thing, and that's as honest as I can be about it. They're I'm grasping onto hope that the one time they tell us the truth, this is it. That's what I'm holding on to.
What would you do if aliens legit in a UFO landed tomorrow? Like, what would be your reaction?
Like if I saw them land,
Yeah, like this
or
on TV, they just landed right in the middle of what, you're close to Milwaukee.
oh, that's yeah.
Let's just say one landed in Milwaukee, right in daylight. Alien come out of that thing, lizard, gray, I don't care what.
I guess it would all depend on what happened when they came out of the ship.
I mean, they don't
You
attack
know,
nobody. They just land, and it's just the very first time this has ever happened.
well, first of all, there'd be a crowd like you wouldn't believe, and there'd probably be chaos everywhere. So you'd never even be able to get close to Milwaukee on any highway
You're
because
watching
everybody
it
would
on
be.
TV. What goes through your mind? Like, are you like, I was right, Ray was wrong?
Oh yeah, for sure. It would be. I knew it. I knew it. I would. I don't know. I'd probably grab the kids and bring them over by the TV and see, look, told you.
You don't think with like the so-called Project Bluebeam and with AI, you don't think that the government could just fool you?
I think there's a high possibility that they could, especially since with all the UFOs. Well, now what are they called? They're not even called UFOs anymore.
UAP.
UAPs.
Yeah.
Um, well, for podcast purposes, I'm just gonna say UFO. Uh, with all the UFOs that have been seen, and I mean they can't. The chances of them all being UFOs are pretty slim. I'm pretty sure the government has something similar, that they're testing out, not necessarily a majority, but some of it. And it could be the soldiers flying these things.
Or,
But
or
I
unmanned.
think, but I
Or
think, or unmanned, but I think the technology had to come from somewhere. The technology had to come from somewhere otherworldly.
why
I
other
don't think,
humans
because
are
I don't believe that we are advanced enough
humans got us to
to
the
come up
moon
with that.
using computers dumber than
Uh,
calculators.
did they though?
Yes, like
Did they?
are
Did
are
they
you gonna
really?
are you a moon landing denier?
I am no,
Well,
not necessarily,
just skeptic.
but it, I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical of it.
So
Now, I'm not saying it didn't happen.
say about the mirrors? What do you
What's
say
that?
about the mirrors that have been left up there by the astronauts?
The mirrors that are left up there by supposed astronauts.
Yeah, we can point lasers at them and measure how far the moon is away precisely.
Well, I mean, you can't prove that we put them there.
Well, it's funny we didn't use them to measure the moon until after the moon landings.
Oh, there's a lot of funny stuff. There's UFO. There's also UFO sightings that were before the Wright brothers even took flight.
That's true.
So to say, I mean, so obviously we didn't have technology back then.
I mean, did we? I agree. Did we just not know that we did?
I mean, that's very well could be too, I suppose. But
I mean, it seems like civilians are like 30 years behind where the military is.
I think they're probably more.
It could be. I would have no doubts. Like my theory is all the UAPs are just government craft, is all they are.
But all of them? That seems like an awful big ask, even of the military.
I don't think any of them come from space. Like, I could see other countries trying to spy on us, so sending their secret craft.
Oh, they'd be shot down immediately.
I mean, haven't we tried and we're not successful?
I can't answer that. I do not know. Know that.
Remember when the first Gulf War happened? Like the Iraqis couldn't hit our stealth fighters because they just couldn't see it. You know, radar was getting scrambled from it, and not scrambled, but radar wasn't picking it up. So they were able to do all these missions, and I don't know if we lost any. Might have lost one of the stealth.
Since we last talked about them, I did find out the name of those tall blonde aliens that are supposedly look like us. Yeah, they're called the Nordic aliens.
Nordics. Yeah.
Nordic aliens. Venusians. Venusians.
Protectors of us? Is that what they are?
All it really tells me in this brief description is that they're tall blonde hair, blue eyes. They basically look like they're Norwegians. That's about it. Featured in several cases of contact. I don't know what exactly that means, but yep, he talks about them.
Yeah, he talks about all of them. What I've noticed is when you look at old pictures, like this was LA, and I mean, you can't make out anything, but these are tracer rounds, the little dots. And they're trying to, LA during World War II, you can see the date here, February 25th, 42, they thought they were under attack. So they sounded the air raid sirens, and they're actually shooting at stuff up here. You can't really tell what it is.
That looks like immediately when I see that picture, it looks like some sort of aircraft with beams of light coming out of it.
Yeah, the lights are actually spotlights from the ground. These long beams.
Oh, they're just lights, just like spotlights.
During World War II, LA and those were so afraid of an attack by Japan on that coast that they had lights put on a lot of the tall buildings and anti-aircraft guns. So this is actually over the city of LA with anti-aircraft fire trying to hit. They never did hit anything. They don't know what it was. It wasn't the Japanese, obviously. That's one of the more interesting stories I've found.
So they don't know what it is.
No idea. That was kind of crazy. Did they just get a little trigger happy? I don't know. To me, it looks like there is something that they're focusing on, but I can't tell what that is.
Draconians.
But one thing I noticed is if you look at the older ones, like the UFOs are kind of shaped like the vehicles they had back in those days. It's like a time thing, like the big curves.
It does look like an old time UFO. Like even they came up with better technology since then,
I mean, you would think they'd already had the top notch stuff because then you move into, like the 80s, 90s, and you start getting V shaped and triangles.
Yeah.
And you just so happen to see the spy plane we came out with that's pretty much a delta wing.
But I mean, it very well could have been one of the flying saucers from the third world alien country.
The third world,
these are the poor folks. These are the these are the geo metros of the alien spacecraft. you
Not the
know,
Geo Metros. Oh
the
goodness.
Geo Metros or even a tracker. Maybe it looks more like a Geo tracker.
Oh, those were not safe. My friend had
No,
one.
no. So, nowadays we're getting some Cadillacs and some Bentleys flying through the air.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah, there's nothing you need to say. When I'm right, I'm right.
But look at this though. Like, are you seriously telling me you're getting from another galaxy to here in that thing? Come on.
I mean, I gotta hand it to you. That one looks like a garbage can in
Yeah, I
space
want to say it was from 50 something. I'd have to look up the date again. I want to say 50.
compared to what we've seen lately.
Right.
That's like an insult.
And if you look at like our military equipment, like the UFOs have advanced the same rate as our military equipment. You know, when we
Hmm.
started building the stealths, all of a sudden the UFOs were triangle shaped. Some
Well,
of the
now
first UFOs kind of reminded you of like a hot air balloon type device, if you read the stories. Now there's some
hmm.
like that you can't explain that's fire from the sky, like who knows what they were seeing.
Now I know we talked about this before, but the Philadelphia experiment,
Yep, love the Philadelphia.
which was those of you who are listening who don't know, I think that was the military ship that they tried to use to bend space and time, and I think they were trying to teleport at the same time as fast travel, like light speed.
Right.
But what happened was, let's see if I can see when it was. Back in 1943, in October of 1943, the ship broke the space and time continuum, and it was called the Eldridge. Was teleported to Virginia and slightly back in time. Uh, Speculated that those on board suffered horrible consequences as a result, and I remember seeing some pictures online of this, and it had bodies that were half molted to the ship and half sticking out. Like, it was horrendous what happened to these
Like if that story
aliens.
is real, that's freaky.
Yeah.
I've always
So,
thought they were dealing with teleportation there.
well, it looks like a failed attempt at
Oh,
teleportation, if you ask me. I mean, what are we talking? 1943. I mean,
yeah, it did not sound like it ended well. I mean, imagine, I'm doubting that they stopped doing the experiments. I really doubt they stopped doing them. I would not be
well,
surprised to find out we can do a little teleporting.
yeah, there's no way that they stopped. There's no way. What got me now when I came across this article again, I immediately was like, oh, this is bullshit. There's no way that this is real until I came across this statement right here. The Navy's official position seems to be that there was no Philadelphia experiment, which tells me that absolutely it's true. If they're denying that it even existed, that they had any part in doing it, to me, automatically red flag. It happened. They're lying. I've never been more sold until I read that statement.
That's all it takes, huh?
That's all it takes.
That's all. The government said
Yeah,
yes. We know the answer is no. And it's hard to argue with that. It's hard to argue with that.
right. I mean, they've been so truthful so far.
Like Tesla was into some craziness that I'm sure if the government took some of his work and was expanding on it, we've probably got some crazy stuff. I remember when HARP was just a conspiracy theory, and now there's what, 7 countries with HARPs?
Oh, you're talking about the oh, what is that? The speeder upper thing.
No, the
Yeah.
big antennas.
Oh, it was an antenna. I thought you were talking about that. What the hell is that called? You know what I'm talking about? The thing that they lit up last year or whatever.
Oh, the CERN, the
Yes,
Large Hadron Collider.
CERN.
No, no, no. HARP is
CERN collider. That's it.
it's a big square of antennas that the government uses to heat up the atmosphere, and it lifts part of the atmosphere so we can talk to submarines deeper. And
Okay.
a lot of the technology into that, and this is Tesla technology, was a type of weather control. So that's
Hmm.
why a lot of people think HAARP messes with the weather, and I I don't disagree with it because it's sending a ton of energy into our atmosphere.
So you don't think that's government controlling our weather?
I think it's possible. I don't know if they do it to the extent a lot of the conspiracy theorists say. I could see them using HAARP to try to start earthquakes if that's possible.
Are they trying to get California to fall into the water?
No, I'm thinking more about overseas when, like, you noticed
Oh,
a few years ago there was some earthquakes in like China and some other places, like when there was some real big political stuff happening. I thought that was
oh,
kind of very coincidental, I should say.
yeah. And they could always send that tsunami if they're going to control the earthquakes. They can
Right?
create tsunamis whenever they want.
And I
That's a
still
handy
remember that
tool to have.
one of the most interesting things I ever saw. Do you remember the blue light over Norway that was spinning like a top? Like a
No.
Oh, you've never seen that?
Mm-mm.
The most freakiest thing I've ever seen. The Russians claim they had a rocket malfunction and that's what it is, but if you see it, it looks like a portal was opened up. It's crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
What did it look like inside?
It was just a spinning blue light. Um,
Well, that reminds me of that pilot that was flying that plane. Did you hear about him? Who he was driving through or driving, flying through clouds, and he came across this big ring because he couldn't go around it because he would have lost his instruments or something. So he had just powered through it, and he came up to this like tunnel looking thing. All of a sudden, he hit this tunnel, and then very shortly after, he came out, and he was like 3 hours ahead in his path to where he was going. He saved like 3 hours getting there, and nobody can understand or explain how he got there. And to me, that was that was like, okay, well, how did that, was some sort of a time portal in the sky or what? But I just love that type of stuff. I love the possibility of that type of stuff existing. I think it's exciting.
all right. So you've never seen these lights in Norway, huh?
No, nope, I've never seen them.
You ready for this?
Yeah, show me.
And this is on video. This isn't just people taking pictures.
Oh
This,
wow.
this in the middle is spiraling. You can see the spiral in the blue, but that
So
thing just kept spinning for a little bit.
so what is that? No, keep it up there. What is that? What is that blue
They say it's
thing?
jet fuel.
Jet fuel.
They're saying a rocket took off and blew up and started spinning in a circle. But if you actually watch the video, it's very strange because the whole thing's spinning.
So
And
those of you listening on Spotify, if you want to see what he's showing, you have to go to YouTube.
yeah, or just look up the Norway spiral light. Sorry.
There you go.
But I saw this on video like the day it happened, day after.
Really?
Oh, it
How
freaked me
long?
out.
Do you have any idea how long ago that was?
Oh God, no, before COVID.
Oh, okay.
Beastie.
Surprised the Men in Black didn't come in and step in on that.
Well, for Russia to try to take credit for it, and this is actually over the Norway HARP area. So that's why I don't know what they're doing, and it's really close to CERN too.
Hmm. So there could be a mixture of things going on there.
It could be. I don't know if they saw the Men in Black or not. Like,
Here
do you
come
believe
the
in the
Men
Men in
in
Black?
Black.
Oh, you
Of
gonna say
course I do. Of course I do. Not only a big fan of real life, but I like the movies too. But yeah, definitely a big believer. Well, we've talked before. There it is.
get excited about this picture?
Yeah, I
What
like that
was
picture.
their names?
Uh, uh,
Oh God, it was so
J
funny.
J J and K.
J and K.
Yeah.
They always called him like Detective White or something like that. Whenever they
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was. I think that was the first one. That was the first one.
first
I
one's my
think.
favorite.
Yeah.
But now
Uh,
you believe in the real Men in Black?
I do absolutely believe in the real Men in Black. We talked about certain cases. You brought up last time we talked about that lady that was working in the office.
Yep. I think this is a still from on the
Oh,
on the right side. There is a still from that video.
yeah, that's the well, you got a couple pictures up there, but that one on the right is when they walked in and they were asking about, I think, I'm not sure that's the same one. I think that's the one where they came in and they were asking about a certain employee that witnessed a UFO sighting,
Yep, this is
and
another.
the employee had the day off. So, and they tried to convince these guys that this guy doesn't work here anymore. So the guy you're looking for isn't here, and they didn't believe him. And they went and searched these two dudes, these two scary guys who were the exact same height and looked exactly the same in the face, searched this building and couldn't find the guy, and then eventually left. I don't know if they ever did find him or not, but it's a pretty damn interesting story.
On the left is one of the earliest sketches of a Men in Black
Oh,
witness, allegedly.
that's a cowboy in black.
Now I've read a couple theories. One was that they just work for the government, and the other is that they're actually aliens that do work for the government.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
Uh, my honest opinion,
Oh yeah.
I think they are. All right, now let's go down the rabbit hole for a moment. I believe that Men in Black are working and policing government activity along with their activity here on Earth. I think they are not only policing alien activity, but they are making sure that the government is going through and keeping up with their deal that they must have made back when Truman was president, because we all know they made a treaty of some sort. Personally, I think it's exchange human bodies for technology. That's
Wow.
why they're allowing everybody to get sucked up by the airship. I told you we're going down the rabbit hole. I fucking warned you.
Now, if they're so against nuclear weapons, how come they've never stopped all the tests that have gone on?
That's a great question. I don't know. I'll have to
What was it,
light
probably
up my.
fishbowl or glass eye? One of the two. We were like blasting nukes up in the atmosphere. Like, where were they for that?
Maybe that was going to cause less damage, and they knew it. It
It
wasn't
was
going to.
it would scatter across further area, the fallout.
Well, right, but it wasn't going to cause earthly damage. It wasn't a risk to the planet itself.
No, we just now have like two-headed cows and stuff.
Well, we've always had two-headed cows. Now, I got one on my TikTok video.
Yeah, you do.
Plug, Real Ghost Hunter 1 on TikTok, just so you know.
I've, I've say of all the cows my wife's father-in-law's owned, I've never seen two-headed cows. I've never seen any kind of deformity like that. It'd be interesting to see.
I'm assuming they're rare because, why show it off otherwise. Oh, let's see.
Would you freak out if Men in Black showed up at your door?
I would be intrigued. I
You'd
would probably, to be honestly, I would probably do whatever they told me to do.
Well, it seems like from the videos you have to do what they tell you to do.
Yeah, because
I don't know if they got some
they
hypnosis,
some sort of mind control.
something. Like those
Some
videos are very weird.
what do they call that? What do they call that? Something ultra.
MK Ultra.
MK Ultra mind control. I mean, it's possible, especially if they do work for the government in any way. You
Yeah.
know,
I like your idea that they're watching out for the government too. I don't know if they really are, but I like that idea.
the guy who is famous for the Mothman prophecies.
No.
Anyways, his name is John Keel.
Okay.
He's the so-called famous author for the Mothman prophecies, and he thinks that the Men in Black are demonic creatures.
I like that dude already.
So he thinks they're demons. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't believe that, but you never know. You never really know.
Like, what do demons really care about Aunt Barb down in the trailer house?
Yeah. They probably don't. No.
Now, if she sees something the government don't want her to see, then yeah, then you might be getting a visit from the Men in Black.
I'm going to take a minute to show off my new t-shirt. You know, you got our Paranormal WatchTower shirts on. First time. First podcast wearing them. I don't know if we'll wear them every time, but we're wearing them this time. Pretty cool.
I vote with
Thanks,
that
Ray.
time. You're welcome. So you got homework to do. You got to look up the Northern Lights video, or not Northern Lights, Spiral Lights video.
All right, that I can do.
It's actually
That I can
happened
do.
in another country too, but I don't remember where that was.
Ah.
So not the first time.
So what's your take on Area 51?
I think it's a secret base that the U.S. government uses, the military, try
Well,
to
I think we could all agree on that, but what do you think they do in there?
test out new technology.
You think that's it? You don't think that's where they're housing the alien beings
No,
that
there's
they've already caught?
aliens, so what are they doing housing alien beings?
This is fun. I like this. This is a fun podcast.
Like, I'm sure the UFOs that are seeing over Nevada and New Mexico probably came from Area 51. I mean, it's coincidence that a lot of these sightings happen around military installations.
Hmm. Well, I mean, Area 51 has got to be one of the most common conspiracy theorist locations known to man.
It's probably one of the first conspiracies I got into as a kid. Because you remember, like, I'm dating myself here, in the early 80s, mid 80s, like, that was top secret place. And there weren't people with cameras on their cell phones going out there. Like, you had no idea. There was
Right.
a picture some guy took from like a mountaintop somewhere or something where you could kind of see the base. And you're like,
Yep.
oh my God. Like, that
Well,
was crazy.
that's when people respected military, you know, which
Yep.
they should. I absolutely should respect the military. But, you know, now people are getting ballsy and trying to get as close as they can. And then they got the
Do you remember that march they tried to turn on?
yes.
For COVID, I think it was.
I was really hoping for that. They
I
were
was
going to
too.
storm Area 51. I was rooting for them.
I was
And
I was rooting for him, but I knew what was going to happen if they did it.
they were all going to die.
Oh yeah,
That's what was going to happen.
they don't mess around in that area.
I mean, so in that essence, I'm glad they didn't. But had they had, I definitely would have watched it. You
Like,
know,
if a million people would have showed up, and then you got a chance of getting in there.
all right. You
But
know, they can't stop all of us. You know.
you got to be faster than your next person.
Yep. Yep.
Watch them get in there and find out that the only thing in there is planes.
That would suck.
I mean, it'd
That
probably be
would suck.
cool to see what planes are going to look like in 40 years. But have you
Yeah.
ever seen the video of the military working on a UFO looking craft in like the 40s, 50s? Looks exactly like a UFO.
Hmm.
I'll send you that because then you'd be like, dang, this looks familiar.
Oh. And then I found a picture that I wanted to show you.
All
I
right.
should have just sent it to you. But what it does is it's classifying different species of alien. And normally I would have just blown past this picture, but there's one aspect to it that blows my mind that I can't believe, because I've had this theory in my head for a few years, but I'm just going to show you. And it shows, if you look off on the side, it shows a shadow figure.
So
And they're claiming that shadow figures, that their shadow figures are aliens. I mean, look at, that's how they're classifying way on the end.
but they got
That's
goblins.
and a goblin. Yeah, we could talk about that. I don't know
Right.
what the goblins.
Why do they think shadow figures are UFO or aliens?
I don't know. That just blows my mind, and that's why I stopped. Because it was just a random picture. No article, no nothing. It was just a random picture online that you guys can find it. Les Hewitt
What?
in April 2015.
And that's what caught your eye, not the goblin.
No, no. Well, the ears got me, but the shadow figure is what made me snap a picture of it and want to talk about it. Because I definitely don't believe shadow figures are aliens. I mean, the possibility is there, but to me, it's unlikely.
I'll probably believe Bigfoot's an alien before I believe shadow figures are aliens.
Well, I don't want to go too far into Bigfoot, but
Well, I'm just
yeah,
saying.
yeah. I don't know. I think Bigfoot's just a interdimensional being.
Like, I'd like to see a UFO sometime. I mean, I look at the sky all the time with my telescope. I take pictures of the sky, and never once have I seen a UFO.
Hmm. Oh, I found. I don't know if I can show this or not, but I found a. I was scrolling through my phone and I found uh email back and forth from. Remember when I told you I was going to be on Ghost Hunters?
Oh yeah,
Found an email from Nick Corcoran, the producer. This was for back in 2019, March
dang.
2019. I'm like, damn, that's cool, but didn't make it. We all know didn't make it, but they only lasted 2 seasons anyway, so I'm not too heartbroken about it. I'd rather be on it now. That'd be cool. Oh, do you do you want to talk about the WoW signal?
The
You
wow.
probably know more. You probably know more about it than I do. Do you know about it?
Yeah, I do. I don't know if I know more than you do, but I know about it.
um, let's see.
There's still
This was the WoW signal was back in 1977. Ohio State University radio telescope detected an unusual pulse radiation from somewhere near the constellation Sagittarius. 37-second long signal uh, startled an astronomer monitoring the data. He wrote "wow" on it on the telescope printout, and that's how it got its name, was the wow signal. So the theory is this wow signal is from outer space. It's 37 seconds long. I don't know what else to say about it. That's really all I know. I was hoping that you could elaborate more. That's
never
all I
been
got.
repeated.
Never been repeated.
Nope. And that's where my thing is with aliens. Like, I've talked to you about the Fermi paradox, which pretty much says if there's aliens and they're that advanced, then they should have left something here. You know, like we should be detecting their TV signals, radio signals. They should have made contact, and none of those things have happened. So the paradox says either there are no other intelligent beings out there, or they pretty much destroy themselves when they get to a certain point.
Maybe they left us their octopus.
That's like a spy.
Yeah. You never know.
Like here in Nebraska, I guess I'm not too worried about alien spies if they're octopus because we don't have any octopus in Nebraska. So I'm safe.
I bet you have a couple. I
I
bet
mean,
you do.
in the aquarium probably, but that's Omaha, so I'm good here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind owning an octopus.
I wouldn't either. That'd be pretty cool.
Hard to keep them in, but be cool to have.
Yeah. I don't know how they do it. They keep them locked in there because a normal fish tank just has that push screen which they could easily crawl out.
Yep.
So unless you have something that you want to talk about right now, I came across some online discussions that intriguing and hilarious at the same time. And one of the questions that was posted was, how can you spot an alien in disguise among us? And the guy says, for the record, I'm not a troll and I'm not joking. I'm generally interested in hearing what you have to say.
The answer's simple. You get a pair of sunglasses that allow you to see.
Do you have a pair of those sunglasses?
I don't. I wish I
I
did.
need to get those glasses from 13 Ghosts, you know,
That would be
they,
cool.
where you could see them.
Yep.
And
They
I mean,
what was the one with Rowdy Piper? They Live.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You never seen the movie with Rowdy Piper and the aliens?
No,
It's a classic, Brandon. Where he puts the glasses on and he can see like they kind of like lizard looking people.
I've seen Riddick. Does that count?
I don't think that counts. How have you never seen it? Sure. Like how I I don't even know what to say right now. Of all the
Well,
weird movies you've watched, you never watched that movie. That's a classic.
I know, I know.
Like you put these glasses on and you look at a billboard and instead of it showing the picture of whatever, it says stuff like believe or obey. Never seen it.
No.
Oh my god.
One guy answered, "I can spot them because sometimes, for a split second, they reveal their true form. Just for a moment, I can see them for who they really are, and then suddenly they look like everyone else again. If they realize that I can see them, they'll stare at me in surprise. I keep moving and go about my business as I'm quite used to it by now."
Uh,
He goes on to say they literally look like creatures you might see in the movies, such as Men in Black. Though I've been startled before, I have not had any negative encounters.
well, I guess that's
So,
good.
yeah.
Were you
So
on
that's
Reddit?
good
Is that
news.
what you said?
It was on Quora. Quora?
That makes sense. It sounded Reddit for a minute.
I mean, it probably is some version of it, but I
I
don't
think I'm
know.
gonna have to ask you to watch that movie, and we'll have to have a discussion on it on our next Alien podcast.
Oh, oh no. The guy who doesn't watch movies
Oh,
and
it's a
doesn't want to
classic.
participate in the whole movie talking about thing
If you
wants to.
watch, if you watch that movie for me, I'll watch a movie you suggest.
Well, do you know the name of the movie? That would help.
I think it's They Live. Hold on, people. Pause and let me look. So if you wear the glasses, this is what you would see. Like this would have been just a normal looking dude with a sign behind him that was like, vote for Pedro. And then you
Oh,
put
vote for Pedro.
yeah, then you put these glasses on and you see the truth. So it's like subliminal messages everywhere and these alien race of things trying to control everybody.
All right. Well, then we'll do that for one of the future podcasts. So everybody listening has to go and watch this movie called They Live.
Oh, I guarantee you're the only person that hasn't seen it in the whole world.
You think I'm the only one who hasn't seen it?
Yeah, there's people on that one little island that civilization has never touched that have seen the damn movie.
Bullshit. I'll bet a lot of. I'll bet you. I'll bet. I bet people we talk to all the time haven't seen
Oh, let's find out. If you're in the chat,
it.
comment, whatever, let us know if you've seen the movie They Live with Rowdy Piper. Let us know. And if you haven't seen it, I mean,
Be honest.
I might make you a guest on the show for
Be
one.
honest, because I'm feeling left out because I haven't seen it.
You should be feeling left out. This is a classic.
I could probably mention a bunch of movies that are awesome that you haven't seen.
I didn't say awesome. I said a classic. You haven't said one awesome classic yet.
I'm a classic, and you've only seen me twice.
You're more antique.
Still a classic.
Yeah. No, you definitely got checked. Like, I think you'd actually enjoy the movie. It's pretty good. It's, 87, so it's going to be a little corny.
Now, here's an interesting one. I got to tell you about this one. Came across another guy, and he says it might just be that the people with disabilities like autism or extreme gifts like art, like Vincent van Gogh as an example, may be from another place.
I don't know about that.
I thought that was interesting
I've heard.
because
Sorry, go ahead.
well, you know how they say, like people go crazy and the devil made me do it and all this. How do we know that they really are insane? I mean, how do we know? Like maybe the devil did make them do it.
It's hard to prove that either way.
Uh,
Have you heard of like what do they call it? The Cosmic Library or something like that? Allegedly, it's this place in the universe somewhere that contains all the knowledge of time from beginning to end. And like the theory is that certain people on the earth have been tapped into that library, like Tesla, um, Michelangelo. They think
mhm.
that they were so advanced in their thinking because they were able to tap into this library. I think I saw that on Ancient Aliens, I want to say, even. So their thoughts is that this somehow memory dumped to them, and they have all this vast knowledge that comes from the cosmic library or whatever it's called. I always thought
Hmm.
that was kind of interesting. I would like to tap into it. If there's any aliens listening to our podcast and you can give me that ability,
Or you want to come and visit me?
or land in Brandon's backyard,
That's right. That's right. You
or
know my
both,
address. Stop by.
we have cookies for him.
I do have cookies. Yeah. I got cookies and chips and whatever. They just, as long as they don't gnaw on me, we're good to go.
I wonder if they like Cool Ranch Doritos.
Or my dogs. Me, my dog. Well, okay, it goes me, my dogs, then my kids. That's not.
Dogs first.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I hope your daughters don't watch the podcast.
I seriously doubt it.
You think they could
But
take your dogs? They probably got some like laser gun. Just dog gone.
doggone. Doggone it.
Doggone it.
Doggone it. Here we go again. I do have this one short story that if we have a minute before we end the podcast, I'd really like to share
I'll,
it.
I'll give you a minute.
You give me a minute? All right. This is a super cool story. You guys are going to enjoy it. This guy swears up and down that this is a 100% true story. Um, I'll make it as quick as possible. All right, you ready? Here we go. We had a neighbor named Mr. Spencer. He was a bachelor, a World War II vet. He was nice to the neighborhood kids and made toys for us in his workshop. One day I was watching him interact with people on a big screen TV, and he also had drones floating around in his workshop. The problem is, this was in the 1960s with no big screen TVs or drones. A person he was speaking with alerted him that I was watching. I ran home frightened. He came to my door and asked my mom if he could speak with me. My mom was suspicious and would not let him. About a week later, I was walking home from school when he confronted me and asked me what I'd been doing. When I told him what I'd seen, he looked like he was going to cry. He said it wasn't my fault, and that he should have pulled down the shade. He said he was a teacher from another planet and he was there studying us. But now that he has been discovered, he'd have to leave and go home. He had a couple of talks. We had a couple of talks afterwards, and we learned that many things about his history and the level of technology. And then he disappeared. His yard became overgrown. His house became a ghost house. Rumors circulated about what could have happened to him. I only knew the truth. Only I knew the truth. Yes, they are here among us, studying us, and hopefully are benevolent. And this guy is like all in on this story. All in. And of course, you put up our buddy.
Yep, I'm gonna call bullshit on that whole story.
You can call bullshit on it?
That
It's a
dude,
good story, though.
it's
Come
a
on,
great
man.
story. He's a good storyteller, but there were drones in the '60s.
Well,
If this
were
dude,
there
yes,
available to the public
well,
to a
probably a
grade
hobbyist that knew how to mess with motors and
to a
propellers.
grade school teacher? They had
Great,
drones for the public in the 60s.
right? But how did the
Good
alien
deal.
get the big screen here?
Look, I don't. It's
Like, come on. I don't know who that dude is, but hey, great storyteller. Like, it
cool
was a
story,
great,
bro.
pretty cool story, bro. But aliens, apparently. I don't know.
Whatever.
I can't buy
What?
that one. That one just
Whatever.
That was too much of a story.
Fuck off. I loved it.
Ah,
I loved it.
It was just too much. Like if he'd been like, "Look, man, my neighbor, I seen him like eating the cat with the second mouth, looked like an earthworm." That's it. I would have believed that more than a 5 paragraph story.
Hmm.
It's just how I am, though.
And then you got your smart asses on here. Yes, sir. Aliens among us. To know if you are one, you're either getting probed or you're not.
All right.
Is that you writing that?
No, that was not me. I would
Sounds
have.
like something.
I
Yeah,
definitely would have.
it sounds like something you might say.
I don't know why people have a problem with somebody that doesn't believe in aliens. They're like, how can you think we're the only thing that exists? It's like, because we are. Like,
So if we
show me evidence of these other civilizations.
the last thing I have for tonight is, why have aliens not contacted us explicitly?
Right.
And this guy who claims to be knowledgeable in the field, and I know I can feel your eyes rolling, but he gives 6 different answers as
6.
to why.
6.
Yeah, and they're like different opinions, actually. It's pretty interesting. Why haven't aliens contacted us? Well, answer 1 is they have, but we don't understand them. Hey, we've been beaming radio waves into anthills for decades, but the ants have never replied. It goes to say, like what I said earlier.
But they could still detect them if they had advanced technology like we do as people.
Let's see. Why have they not contacted us? Number 2 is they don't know how, because they're not advanced enough to do it, or they don't think like we. Oh, they don't think like we do.
Right.
Number 3 is they started, but the messages haven't arrived yet because they're too far away.
All right.
Or they sent a signal, but it deteriorated over the distance that it took to travel here. I don't know.
I believe.
Like,
I'm honestly, if there were, and I'm not saying there are, if there were other advanced civilizations, I don't think they have the ability to travel here yet. I know there's billions of millions of years, whatever, but I think we would be getting a lot more evidence, and we would notice an ancient civilization out there in space.
There's 2 more.
Oh goodness. Go
for it. Why haven't they contacted us? Number 5. Because they don't care about us, and why should they?
That's a good point.
You know, why would they care? You know, just because we're a bunch of dumb humans, bunch of meat sacks floating on a piece of dirt in the sky. You know, why would they care?
What if we are the most advanced technology in the universe?
That is a scary thought.
It is, but it might be true.
I hope we're not, because I don't have a lot of confidence that would be the case. And then the last answer to this was probably going to be your favorite.
Oh, great. I can't wait.
Why have aliens not contacted us? Because there aren't any aliens.
Right. So that guy just took the Fermi paradox and rewrote it pretty much and didn't give credit.
No, is that what happened?
Like, the Fermi paradox comes from a couple scientists that used to have lunch together. And I don't know his whole name, but Dr. Fermi pretty much was saying, like, why haven't we ever been contacted by aliens? It's either because they haven't made it here yet. They've destroyed themselves at a certain point, like it seems like our civilization's going towards.
Mm-hmm.
Or there just isn't anything out there. And until solid evidence comes, that's the answer. For me, not for you.
Well, should we close it out?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed our alien podcast, which is episode number 4. If you're going to look for it on podcast or YouTube, we sure had fun. I know I enjoyed it. Ray, how'd you feel about this one?
I had a blast. We could have gotten a lot deeper, but we'll save that for some more podcast.
Yeah, so let us know if you enjoyed this one. Put it down in the comments if you have any other suggestions you'd like us to cover. Again, my name's Brandon Kramer.
I'm Ray Wright. Make sure you tune in. We're going to try to start releasing the podcast on Wednesdays, so make sure you tune in next Wednesday for another podcast. We're starting to do some changes with the show. We'd like to incorporate some questions from you guys into it, so definitely put those in the comments. And I guess I'll see you guys next week.
Now you have to add, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on TikTok.
Have a great night, everybody. See ya.